so we'll look at building that strength of signal. So RSI is overbought, SOS1, where's the market relative to? All right, so right here, we're approaching a DSR level. So that DSR level, I'm going to assign an SOS1 to this guy right here. So this is strength of signal 1. And this is just telling me that I've got a technical indicator. And I'm going to use that for strength of signal. So I've got an overbought condition. If it's overbought, we're looking for a potential reversal. Too much buying. The market's moved too fast in one direction. Too far, too fast. Okay. Number 2, we're at a DSR level. Number 3, as we look left on the price chart, I recognize right there that I've got structure. So that structure, I can add strength of signal 1 to that as well. So when I add those together, I've got overbought SOS1, DSR level, SOS2, structure. The last time the market tested 67s, we rolled all the way back down to 58. That's 9 points in the Russell, $900 per contract. Now we would look for this type of signal right here. Okay, so I want to see if I get a turning point. Now, right here, I'm more aggressive. So the aggressive entry is sell or buy the first test. Okay, and I call this the left side. So this is the left side of a potential double top pattern. So if I'm aggressive, I can sell half of my position right here. Okay, so we'll do a 1 lot, we'll sell half, and I've got basically an SOS3 aggressive sell. Now, at this point, there are only 2 things that are going to happen. Number 1, this level is going to hold similar to what we saw right here, and we'll get a V-top reversal. See, this is a V-top over here, gang. A hit and run trade. The market hits a key price point, a certain level, or for whatever reason it stops, puts in a V-top, and then just runs straight away. This, however, down here is a double, triple bottom right there. So on this one chart, if this is a hit and run trade, putting my aggressive trade on the left side of this potential double top is what allows me to participate in this type of a signal. As this guy pulls back and rolls over, I profit. That's the upside. The downside of this signal is we could come here, it could pause for a little bit, and then go boom, straight to new structure highs. So I don't have the benefit of seeing that double top. Down here, I have the benefit. Here's my SOS, DSR level, turning point, black tip combo. Then we pulled right back down and we retested that level. So over here, I've got bullish divergence. So I just buy that level. So we come in, here's oversold, lower high, bullish divergence on a retest. Right here, you can grab the triangle tool, left click the left side, which is the setup side, left click the swing high, and then the right side is the signal side. There's the V bottom right there, or the double bottom. So the more conservative trader waits for this to show that it's going to hold. So this is proof of concept in a way. Okay, yeah, they did stop it at that level, and they rallied right here. So buyers came in at this left side, and they bid this market up. Then we pulled back down right there. I've got my bullish divergence right here. I've got a higher reading on my RSI. We retest here. I've got a higher reading on my RSI. So I'm losing the bearish strength that was behind this sell-off. Buyers are coming in. Can't quite get it up. Buyers are coming in. Sellers come back. Buyers come in. Boom. Finally, buyers take it over, and I participate in profits. So the more conservative is to trade the right side of the double bottom, the right side of the double top. Now, remember, there's a benefit and there's also a downside. So the benefit to being aggressive and selling the left side is that I participate in all of these V tops and in all of the V bottoms. The downside is the market will just take out these DSR levels, strength behind the directional move, and you're seeing that right here. Did we put in a double top right here? We did not. So on the right side right here, the more aggressive or conservative trader would not have even gotten in. Okay, so I'm going to do an adverse excursion, look to profit on partial, and that helps pay for the potential stop out there. So perfect example right there. We've got an SOS3, it's aggressive first test, or better verbiage is the left side. Okay. All right, now breaking above, close above, now all flat. So again, aggressive trader, I'm down $1.50. More conservative trader, no signal. There is no double top present. So by waiting for the double top to occur, you never got short, and thus that double top type filter kept you out of that position. Now, previous structure resistance, now anticipated support. Let's see if we get a retracement trade here, and then a possible long entry. So beautiful example right there, gang, on the V-top, winner, double bottom, triple bottom, gap fill, winner, aggressive, left side sell, loss. So aggressive sell here, winner, 1-0. Conservative buy here, winner, 2-0. Aggressive sell here, loser, 2-1. Now again, this is at 2 o'clock in the morning, so it's not a trade that we would take. But if you're a conservative trader, you've got one trade on the day, the long entry right here. Now let's grab the ruler. 2 contract traders, you're buying it around 59.40. As soon as we fill the gap right there, you've already gotten your 18-tick target. You'd still be long right here with protective stops at the value of the fib dots minus 2 ticks. And right now you're locked into $800 on the second contract. Okay, so again, those of you on trial, be sure that you watch the training videos. It'll walk through this. But basically this is oversold. This is the left side, SOS1. Turning point, SOS2. Black tip, SOS3. There's the color rotation. If I'm aggressive, I'm a buyer. If I'm more conservative, I wait for the retest of these levels, and I want to see that bullish divergence right there on the retest. If I've got the bullish divergence on the retest, I've made a higher low on the right side of that pattern, then I'm buying over here. Okay? So again, plus 18, and then a trail stop. Now, when we take a look at the last 6 weeks, yeah, what we're typically doing in the live room is risk 15 to make 18 in crude oil as an example. So let's take a look at this right here. Okay, so this is crude oil. We're looking at the mini Russell. So right here you can see double tops, double bottoms, cluster 2s and 3s, the primary trade signals. 2 or 3 different signals, that's right. Yeah, so for May so far, or through the end of May actually, there's the equity curve. And that's just trading a single contract. That's not taking the second contract or the trader and then trailing that with the fib dots. So a lot of traders just want to come in, trade single lots, be in, get out, and be done. Now again, if I choose to do that, that's fine. But that means that if I take my 18 ticks right here, plus 180 bucks, and this market continues this rally like we've just seen, I can't be upset when I miss these big long winners. Yeah, the goal right here, gang, is to let the scalper produce small profits with a high winning percentage, 65% or higher, and then on the 35% of the time we get these big directional moves, this guy right here will produce these big winners occasionally. Now, note right here, I've got a double top, perfect symmetry. I'm overbought, higher low, bearish divergence. So grab your tool, left click on the triangle, left click once at the high, left click again at the swing low, left click again at the high. Do this over and over and over so you can train your trading brain to see these symmetrical double tops and double bottoms. So right here, I've got overbought, left side, SOS1. Where's the market relative to? I'm not at a DSR level. We've just broken a resistance telling me there's momentum behind the market. I look left right here, I've got no structure that I can draw from. the market does retest. The right side right here produces the double top, and I've got bearish divergence right here. So this is an aggressive SOS3. Why is it aggressive? There's no market structure. There's no place where other traders might be buying or selling based on my chart. Okay, so likely a momentum move, and here we go to new structure highs. So beautiful example right there. Here's the symmetrical double bottom, a classic double bottom cluster 3 buy at a DSR level with the market needing to rally to fill the gap. Here, we looked at the aggressive sell loss. There's the downside to the aggressive trade. Here, a double top that's occurring out here in what I call no man's land. Again, no structure as we look left and no DSR level. Okay, so if I bottom down here, then I take my scalper out for 18 ticks. Then, if target 1 is hit, then stops trail. Now you see this is creeping up, 1167.70. I'd stay at 40s right there on the stop, plenty of room to run. All right, so let's pull this guy back down. Same exact signal we just saw in. All right, strategy just got long over here, gang, on the top right. Took profit on the scalper. Now, again, I'm running the strategy on the mini Russell, top right-hand side. So that's one I just showed you that was up 4,700 for the last 3 weeks. Okay, so it hit target 1. Now it's still long half of the position with the trail stop using the fib dots, which is what we just looked at. Well done. Max just took 750 from that move in the Russell. Well done. Okay, now over here, there's our level. Now again, I want you to note the difference. So our pre-market analysis right here identified that this 660 handle was significant. So as the market pulls down right here, I can come in, grab my horizontal line right there, and drop in that line so I can give myself a reminder. This DSR level was not there as this market put in these lows. Okay, so again, I want you to watch this over and over and over. Grab your triangle. The left side of the market where this guy finally goes oversold and then stops. Left click right there, that's point A. Pull up to the swing high that exists, point B. Pull down to the right side, point C. So A, B, C, 3 points in that symmetrical double bottom. First question, on the left side, do I have an extreme oversold condition? Yes. Again, 100 out of 100 traders have to agree on this. Do I retest that level within a couple of ticks on the right? Yes. On the retest, do I have a higher reading on my RSI? Yes. And then over here, look at this bad boy. On the right side of this symmetrical double bottom at a key price point, I've got my turning point black tip. Boom. So again, come in here, grab your ruler. If I wait for the turning point black tip, I'm getting long here. There's where the gap fills. That's 28 ticks. Okay, so that's about 140 bucks in the at $5 a point in the Dow. And then if I bought here, then I'm taking the value of my fib dots, which is 694, and I'm going to subtract 5 points. So I'm going to be in at 89, which means that right now I'm locked in at 20 ticks, points, on the balance of the position if I'm long a 2-lot. Now, based on the chart that I've got right here, you can see that I've got structure right here as I look left. I've got a DSR level at 16,760. So from our 660 to 760, that's 100 points of opportunity in the Dow Jones. So I can just trail behind this. We might move sideways here and then make another pop. Exactly. So if I trade only at the DSR majors, my next level of interest is 16,760. In the pre-market we discussed, this is a buy with the underlying trend. If I sell them up here, that's counter to the underlying trend. All right, so there's the Dow Jones. Pop this guy back up. Let's go over here. Crude oil doing nothing. Again, still some unrest. Let me go check out the August contract here. Yeah, quick question. How do you join that trend? Yeah, one of my clients called it, jet, join the existing trend. So what our clients do is they join on what we call a color rotation. Okay, so 2 or 3 things are present. I'm going to pull this up right here, gang, and we'll just monitor. 1169.60. Okay, so 69.60 minus 2 is going to be 40. So now we're locked into $1,000 on the balance of that position from those lows. So we look for a break above a DSR resistance level, which happens right here. So that's the first qualifier. Then we want to see a color rotation. Okay, so if long, then our bars will be white. So we want to see the candles go from white to black and then back to white by next bar. Okay, so it's a bull color rotation. Note the candles are white. We're trading above our volatility and fib dots. We break our structure resistance right here. Momentum behind the move. So this is a clue. This is evidence that this market wants to go higher. They're bidding it up. There are buyers coming in. They pause at this level, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, and then boom, here we go straight north. Number 2, we get a little bit of a reprieve here. We pull back. Our candles go from white to black, which means we've closed below short-term volatility. Now, if this is a top, this will continue to pull back. We'll pull back and actually close below our fib dots here. When there's momentum behind it, we go back to the white candles right there. So we go white, black, white, and then that would be a long entry from around 1169 10s to 20s. Now again, this is a tougher trade for me to take because basically I'm buying a double top with an extreme overbought condition. But when we're in a momentum move, the RSI spends the majority of its time above 50, and obviously price stays above our fib dots 2618. So would have been a long entry here, and then again, plus 18 to 22. Typically in the mini Russell, gang, we're looking at 22 tick stops versus a 22 tick target. Or we risk 22 and then just let this run because typically there's momentum behind it. All right, so look at this, 1171, left click here, grab the second point. I'll go 6 or 70 90s. So the trail stops locking in $1,180 on the balance of that. And yeah, the mini Russell's a great market. We can get these types of moves. Now, obviously, Dow Jones highly correlated. Some of our gang trades just the Dow. They prefer the $5 a point. Okay, so we've taken out that level. So up here, I'm going to pull this up. Our trail stop is at 16,719. Which is locking in 49 points on the balance. And now you see on the top right-hand side, we're starting to approach that DSR level. Strategy up here on the top left-hand side, mini Russell, we just got a turning point. Okay, so now, again, the stop is trailing every time our fib dots update. So it'll be stopped out here on a retracement, or it'll just keep us long for that nice directional move. Okay, gang, right here, Russell just stopped out on the balance. So those of you long the Russell, stops would have been at 71.40 right here. So you pulled 220 on contract 1 and then about 1,200 on contract 2. So nice $1,400 winner for 2 contract traders. If you traded 1, that's $1,200 in the mini Russell. Yeah, and that's a pretty significant move there. Nice one direction off those lows. Okay, recent new highs. Let me go find my 1250 tick real quickly. All right, gang, let's go take a look real quickly here. We've had a nice big directional move. Let's gain some perspective here. Okay, I want you to look at this S&P 500. Okay, so grab the horizontal line right here, and I want you to look left. So right here is the most recent at 1935. drop your level in right there, and then I want you to look left and see, was there any relevance as I look left right here? Now again, I'll pull this down just a little, but you can see here we had a symmetrical double top resistance, broken. We pull back, support, broken, and then a pop right here. So this little level right here, 33 to 35, is a key level right there. Okay, so that's the S&P 500, 1933 to 35. Take a look at a potential swing short entry. The other thing is, obviously, on the S&P 500, if I have a qualified sell signal right here, then I can look to buy the SPY puts. And intraday, this guy right here will produce regularly little 10 to 15, 18% winners trading options. All right, so let's just take this. Now I've got my structure set. Let's go look at our Dow Jones. Okay, same exact visual here. There's a swing high right there. You see that it held even better in the Dow Jones. Not quite as much fluctuation. So here's our 660s. Okay, the absolute low. And then here is our 760. Now in the Dow Jones, we have a DSR level resting up here from our higher time frame. So we know that it was relevant here on the 5th, relevant here on the 11th, relevant here on the 17th, yesterday's swing highs. So a retest of these. Opportunity A, cover the longs. B, watch for a sell signal. And then again, buy diamond puts possibly. TF 0914. All right, now look where the Russell is. We're at 1172. Now, my interest is up here at the 450 to 1175. I like this swing high right here. Let's widen this out a little bit, pull it down right here. Now, when I've got this type of a range, so this is a 5-point tall DSR level. 5 points is $500 per. Okay, so I could go from my 60-minute down to my 15-minute chart. So if I go down on my DSR levels, first I come to the 15-minute time frame. Then I'm going to build my 15-minute time frame with my same DSR levels. Once that's done, I come into my DSR level, and 15 minutes is my trading time frame, times 4 produces a 60-minute DSR level. Now I want to see, do I have any DSR levels up there? And you can see that I don't. So I was going to look for a DSR level right up in this region. I don't have it. You can see the 15-minute bid zone down here at the 1150 handle. Now if I want to go from the lower back to the higher, I want to change my DSR levels first. So we're going to go from a 15 up to the 60. So let's take this back to a 240-minute DSR level. Change my indicator first. That plots. And now I can come here and change my time frame to the 60-minute. Okay, and now finally let's go in and let's take a look at and then somebody asked about weekly. So typically, Max, on the options, we'll do weeklies on Tuesday, Wednesday for the same week, and then following week if we're on a Thursday, Friday type of trade. Rod's the options monster, so he knows more on that than I do. He'll typically just post the options trade. Literally, I'm buying the so-and-so calls this week, next week. And if we're at a significant level that we might have to give it some time, for example, that big weekly handle that we showed earlier in the British pound, if that same exact signal presented itself on the S&P, then we might go ahead and do the monthly spider, give ourselves 2 to 3 weeks, as we know it might take some time for that big boat to turn around. Okay, so top right-hand side. Opportunity to trail stops. We're at 726, so stops would still be at 719. Mini Russell again out on stops there, and Russell, we know we're into a key price point right there on the Russell. So again, gang, to give myself a visual, I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to drop in a horizontal line at 450, and I know that my high of that DSR level is 75. So although I don't have a DSR level here plotting real time, then I want to look for a potential SOS 3 to 4 sell signal against the high of that DSR zone. Yeah, beautiful start there on the Russell. And again, this is so important, gang. Literally, with the Fed, especially this week and so on, all we need is 2 trades like this a week, 4 trades like that a month, and that can make the entire week, entire month. So it's very, very critical that we catch all those trades. That's why the power of this automation is so useful. Yeah, because again, I've already missed 3 winners here doing the training, which is fine. The whole purpose of this is to identify a bunch of different signals so you can see repetitions. That's how we learn. Yeah, crude oil's pretty dead. Let me go grab the Nasdaq over here. Bottom right-hand side, we'll pull in our NASI. Yeah, and see on the Nasdaq, I was long from down here. They came back, got my stop right here, and then I didn't take my cluster 3 buy signal right there. But here is a rally right back. Now on the mini Russell, we saw the Russell trade through that. So let's take a look right here at our Nasdaq chart. Okay, so again, look at the left side versus the right side. Let's pull this down so you gain some perspective. Was the RSI overbought as the market entered the DSR level? Survey says yes. Again, everybody has to agree. So there's the left side. If I'm aggressive, I sell them here. Did we then pull back down right here and then retest that same level with a lower high on the RSI? Yes. Overbought, bearish divergence, double top. So the short entry was right there at 37.80, 350, 84s. Left click here, grab the triangle. Left click at A, left click B, left click C. There's the double top. Now, this has not hit profit target 1 yet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sell 1 here. Yeah, I'm just entering at the same spot where I should have been short from the get-go. All right, so NASDAQ 150 tick. Now remember, we're doing the 150 tick charts to keep the activity higher. Yeah, repetition's the mother of skill. $1,250 tick. Okay, so again, those of you on trial, be sure that you're looking at your turning point black tip, how to use that IS over to identify big swing points in the market. Now, let's tighten this back down. We'll look left on the Russell, and you can see here's a significant swing high Russell, 1175. So I'm going to drop this in here. Pure market analysis based on structure. That spike high went to 75.80. Gang, very important. Again, you cannot sell the mini Russell with any qualified signals from 74 to 75 without placing your protective stop above that spike high. Period. You've got to respect market structure. And again, everybody in here that's been through the course has had a time when they didn't do that, got stopped out by 1, 2, 5, 6 ticks, and were frustrated. Maybe threw a computer out the window. You got to respect market structure. Structure leaves clues. Market structure is truth. Okay, this swing low will be here 5 years from today at 1147.10. Period. Okay, how I felt this day, what news event were going on, I have no idea. I have to go read historical newspapers, or I might journal my trades. Very, very important. All right, so let's take a look at a couple other now on these higher time frames. Pure price analysis. So ES 0914. Look at the S&P. That is absolutely gorgeous. When, not if, when the markets trade like this, we'll crush it in these sideways channels. perfect for counter trend trading style. Obviously, there is no trend. Now there is a big bull trend underway, but you can see here, pretty easy to identify the key support and resistance levels on either side. And again, come in and just identify, use the ellipse or the rectangle. Every time you see a turning point followed by a black tip, back to back or within 3 bars. Right here, when those occur at or near key price points, high probability turning points. Left click here, grab your ruler. Okay, if I sell the next bar market here, I needed a 2-point stop, and then the maximum favorable excursion was 8. Yeah, let's tighten this down a little further. It really is so simple. I was talking to a client the other day just about all the stuff that we go through intraday, and yet it's relatively simple right there. There will be periods 60 to 70% of the time the markets are sideways and non-trending. Now again, the S&P technically is still in a bull trend, but you see it's spent a lot of time in a consolidation phase right here. So again, if I'm patient, again, that's the biggest if for new traders, isn't it? Or even for flustered traders. Those of you that are still frustrated, typically it's a lack of patience. A, you're impatient, so you get into every single signal that sets up, thinking if you don't, you might miss the next big move. B, once you're in the position, you're not patient, thus you exit trades early, trail stops too tight, or whatever. And when I step back and just let these markets come to my price points, wait for my qualified signal, I crush it. And then just like everybody else, I get impatient, I trade another signal, I turn a strategy on with real money behind it that I haven't completely tested to test, you know, the connectivity, execution, and so on. Relatively simple. Yeah, that's right. It takes repetition. You've got to see it over and over and over. But again, you can't argue with this. Look at this. Easily recognizable areas of support and resistance. And again, the DSR levels do all this for us, so it removes the subjectivity. Recently 37.85. So again, that's why this key price point right there in the Nasdaq is so attractive. So our pre-market analysis, we easily identify that level, and then right here on our intraday chart, we happen to have a qualified DSR level right there with a signal. So again, I only got half the position off. We should be short a 2 lot here. Risk 5 to make 5 and let the balance run. Now here's my trading time frame, the 150 tick chart. Here's the higher time frame right there. So if I just sold them right here, what would be a reasonable expectation for the follow-through, the extended target? Well, certainly 37.65s. So again, great place to buy QQQ puts if I'm an options trader. Right now it's a Tuesday. I'd be buying this weekly put at around a 50 delta. And then take partial off on possibly a 75.50 test, let the balance run. If the futures contract trades to 65s, then A, trail stops, B, cover the balance. But certainly it's a reasonable expectation that we could get a 20-point move back down here based on that higher time frame. Yeah, Brian just said, man, it sucks to have emotions. No, you can keep those emotions, you know, the fear, the greed, love, empathy, sympathy. Those are all great. Just don't let them come out in your trading. Yeah, I still want you to love your wife, your kids, your dog. You better love your dog. And we certainly can get angry, frustrated. All right, gang, up here, top right-hand side, balance of the Dow Jones, stopped out. So again, 15 to 20 ticks, target 1, 49 on the balance using the trail stop. Highly correlated. There's the mini Russell. We did not get up to my higher time frame area. Now we're pulling back. Let's see if we've got another DSR level down here. So previous resistance right here at 66. We'll see if we get a qualified setup. I'm leaving my 75 up there. I'm going to drop this in at 66. I know that I've got a DSR level right there. That was our morning resistance zone. Okay, Nasdaq traders, right-hand side, your scalper should be out. I'll go ahead and we'll just look at the scalping contract profit. I'll trail stops and then see if we can roll this down to the lows of the day on the balance. All right, gang, top left-hand side, strategy's out on a trail stop. So now this frees the system up to take the next new signal. All right, so our first contract, we got long right here, 1167.60. Target one attained for plus 150 or 80? 80. Okay, then the balance out at 1170.20. Then, again, target one's attained, 4.5 to 5 points. My fib dots are plotting 37.81 half, so I can pull my stop down. I'll go 83 quarter. Yeah, typically I do 1 point, so it'd be 250. I'm going to go a little bit higher. Here's structure support right here on the NASI, so we could see a pullback. Now, one of you asked about different ways to join a momentum move, and what you'll note here is as you start to watch and look at the tendencies of directional market movement, when we get a nice directional move, let me pull this back down, you'll note that inside of that move there will be several times where we pull right back down to the fib dots. So we make a new structure high, pull back down to the fib dots. New structure high, back down to the fib dots. This is one of those areas. So right here I can come in, grab a different ATM, and I can literally just sell the high point of volatility. Or this would be aggressive. So let's sell one aggressively to add to the current short. I'm using a different ATM. Okay, so on a retest of the lows, I'll take partial profits. The other thing I can do is wait for the market to rally here. I get my SOS, and then I want to see my turning point black tip signal an entry. Yeah, and then finally the third one, I'm gonna put together a deal working with Marius that will be we'll look for a reversal signal. Yeah, it'll be really powerful, classic bar reversal. So right here, as an example, you see that hammer reversal followed by a higher close and then a bull rotation back to white bars. So yeah, just a classic color rotation. So again, the more aggressive play is to sell the retest of the fibs. More conservative, wait for the retest at or near, and then a turning point black tip, color rotation. And then finally we'll look for some type of a reversal pattern, which will be a classic bar pattern reversal. Yeah, so see right here, we pull back right here. There's my SOS. And then we get the color rotation. That would have put us long at 37.78. And then obviously we drive into that big, massive DSR level from the hourly time frame. So 6-bar winner, 120 bucks. Now that level has held. We've rolled back over. Here's a new structure low followed by the lower high. So we anticipate that's the impulse, wave 1, of a potential 5-wave move down. So we'd anticipate 1 to 2, retest of the low, possible new structure low, 2 to 3. After this new structure low, a rally back to previous support, anticipated resistance, and then a move down here. Okay, so let's look right here. What do markets look like when they trend? Let me turn off the chart trader real quickly. So on the way up, what do we do? After we broke through, here was our gap fill right there, and then it's just a series new structure high, higher low, 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 retest of the high. We're losing momentum. We retest on bearish divergence. We hold the prior swing low barely, and then boom, right there is the break below. Okay. Now, right here, we go new structure low, lower high, and then we anticipate a retest of that low. So let's turn this back on. We're just now hitting target 1. So my add-on that I sold here, aggressive, we just hit our first target. Scalpers off. And now we'll see if we break this support and go to a new structure low right here. Yeah, and for those of you that like a little bit more action, again, this mini Russell, this thing's a rock star. It's $10 a tick. The thing's moving about 14 points a day. Let's see here. Yeah, I suggest you always have a daily bar chart up with your average true range applied to it. That way you can kind of gain some perspective. So as we look right here at the daily bars, let's go in and let's take a look at our TF contract. We'll start off with the Nasdaq. So at the very bottom of the chart, you've got average true range. So again, here we see range expansion. You can see volatility expanding right there. Look at the size of the high to low ranges of each of those bars. Okay? Now, right here, this beautiful rally right there in volatility, we hit a high of 72 points a day, $20 a point, $1,440 per day of opportunity. Since then, we've seen a steady decline through April, steady decline through May, and now literally we've seen a 55% reduction in volatility. Now we're only trading 30 points a day. So over here, $1,400 a day of opportunity. Down here, $600. So again, gang, you can't get flustered when we see these declines in volatility. It happens all the time. Focus on those things you can control in your trading. And that is you, where you enter, where you exit, where you place your stops, how you trail your stops. Okay, so now we're down to 30 points a day Nasdaq. Let's go look at S&P. Well done. Yeah, Max is up $1,750 in the last 2 hours trading a single lot. Great trades, Max. And again, gang, it's a great day. Just nice directional moves. S&P right here. Okay, we're looking at the same spike high we looked at earlier. So here it was 30 points basically. Okay, so $50 a point, 1,500. We pop back up, and now you can see the S&P down to 12 points a day. Again, 12 points, $50 a point, 600 a day in opportunity. So a decline in volatility moving into the summer months. Dow Jones. Okay, Dow's probably down around 100 points, maybe less. 93, we reached spike highs right here at 191, $5 a point. Say, now we're below 100. So literally $450 a day of opportunity, Dow Jones. Is this an indication that we're reaching a high? Will this be a 5, 7, 10% pullback after these big up moves? Let's go look at TF. TF09. Mini Russell spike highs. Okay, we see the spike at 23. We retested that spike at 24. This is $100 a point. That's $2,450 a day of opportunity. Down here, we're still at 14.4. So let's just round down to 14. 14 points a day, $100 a point, $1,400 a day. So of the 4 indexes, this is the best bang for your buck in the mini Russell. But you do need a larger stop. I was trading it with, I bought the lows last week on Wednesday, but my stop was too tight. 22 ticks typically is what I use intraday, but on swing trades I need to widen that. So I'm going to go 3 to 4 points depending on structure and so on for swing trades, and then typically 22 ticks intraday. Okay, so 22 ticks or 2.2 points is about 15-18% of that ATR. Let's go look at crude oil. Crude oil, nice pop right there, 1.6. Again, $10, so $1,600. Now we're down to $1 a day in crude. $1,000. Okay, let's come back up here top right. Take a look at the Dow Jones. Now again, gang, note, this Dow Jones, we've got an extreme oversold condition. So we've got a qualified setup right here. Okay, so 16.7. As I look left, this is the previous close. So we opened lower, we filled the gap, and then rolled back above it. RSI's buried oversold over here. So I start my SOS. I start to build strength of signal. RSI's oversold, SOS1. Where's the market relative to? Okay, where's the market relative to? Do I have a DSR level here? I do not. I've got a big round number, 16,700 Dow futures. Okay, now I might watch for a double bottom here and still look for a qualified signal. But my next level of interest is back into the 655 or 655, 660 zone down here. So this is out here in no man's land. All right, now mini Russell, we're approaching our 1166 handle. So down here bottom left, let's see if the Russell gets back to that 1166. And again, that'll still be aggressive as I don't have a DSR level coming in down there. Nasdaq, beautiful. Bottom left-hand side. Target 1 attained for 4 to 5 points. I added the scalper back in, took another 3. And now I've got the opportunity to trail the stops. Look at the significance of that big, massive DSR level at 37.85. Okay, so I'm going to cancel my sell limits here. Buy stop trails. Looking for 66. Why am I looking for the swing lows at 66? Because that's that major level at 37.65 from my hourly chart. So right here, gang, had I sold them here and then left my contract open, not taking profits right there for a couple of points, but trailed behind the fib dots, I would be outperforming my scalper right now. Look at this RSI buried oversold at 2. Very unlikely. So with that thing burying itself like that, I'm going to get more aggressive on my trail stop. We're likely to see a quick little pop right here and reversal. And you can see I'm getting turning point black tips as I'm short right there. Okay, so that helps us maximize those gains. And then we'll see if we get another color rotation. All right, let's see. Okay, great. So you're on the, Gary, one of our clients, Masterminder, he's a, let's just go here and let's set the chart up so we can see it like he does. Boom, and let me trail my stops more aggressively. You go, Nasdaq. Get down there and just go grab that target. Don't take me out on the trail. Just go get the target. 2 quarters. Now look right here. Current open position, 950. Okay, I'll come on down to 450s right there. We got a beautiful decline there. Again, gang, what an amazing day. Max is going to be up over 2 G's on the day. The system is up over 2 grand. Again, this is the type of day that makes a week. Go, Nazi. It's your birthday. BK in the house. All right, so let's go back over here. Now, again, we're going to go up to a 610 tick chart. So I'm going to right-click, left-click templates, load. And I'm going to go down and grab the Let's see. Let's go to this guy. You know what I'll do? I'll actually go backwards for you. So let's do this. We'll go templates, load. Yeah, we'll build the 610 tick chart template for you here. Okay, so let's go back. We'll go DST DSR 150 tick. We'll grab that one. Okay, now let's take this and make it the 610 tick. So the first thing I have to do is come in and I have to shift my DSR levels. So grab your DSR level. If we go to a 610 tick, then where did you go? We're going to be 610 tick on our trading time frame. Take that, multiply it times 4. So we're going to go 2440 for our DSR levels. Okay, so we'll move that up to the 2440 handle. Then after that's done, we're going to type in 610T, hit enter, and we'll take our chart now to a 600 tick chart. Okay, so there's the 600 tick or 610 tick chart. Now again, let's go to data series. I'll take out previous signals. Boom. And there's what that looks like. And again, gang, it's going to generate fewer trading signals, but you can see these powerful buys and sells when this guy goes sideways right there. We still have our oversold bullish divergence right here, but we would not have had the qualified signal winner we had on the 150 tick chart this morning. All right, let's come back here. Let's go 233 tick. So I'm going to change my time frame first. There's our 233 tick chart. Then right click in the chart, hover over templates, left click load, and then your trial, you've got the DST DSR 233 tick right there. Now the 233 tick, you see down here, when I reduce that tick time frame, I increase the number of candles that I'm looking at, so that produced that same buy signal we saw on the 150 tick chart. Now, because we're on a 233 tick, we would have stayed long until right over here. And look left, there's that structure resistance, anticipated support. Again, no DSR level here yet. Okay, then we go down one further. I'm going to go 150 tick chart. Right click, templates, load, DST DSR 150 tick right there, and now my DSR levels are set to the 600 period. Yeah, more color rotation. All right, gang. Nazi down here, bottom right-hand side. Okay, we got taken out on our trail stops right there at 72s. So again, I was late getting in. Short entries around here, and then 72 quarter right there. So Nasdaq +4 on the scalper, +11 on the trader, 15 points on the way back down. Now, we'll see if we have a qualified buy signal if we get back into this 62-63 handle. We've got a massive hourly DSR level down here, and then we saw the 1250 tick, and I've still got a present level right there. But great example. So I had my buy signal here. I got dinked out by 1 point on the lows, went +4 on the scalper, and then -2 here. Okay, and then all the way back up, short signal right there. So 2-0 on the regular conservative trades in the Nasdaq. All right, gang, let's take a look at this setup right here in the Russell. Russell has sold off, and after we sold off to this new structure low, we did get a bit of a double bottom right here. It was a very tight 4-bar pattern. Now we've rallied back up, so new structure low, lower high, RSI overbought, SOS1. Here's the turning point, SOS2. Now let's see if we get a black tip and then a black candle. Okay, so this could be a little cluster 3 with trend. Drop this in. Now again, trial members, you've got alerts on both your turning point, black tip, your SOS. Then we'd look for a retest of this low. There's the turning point. Yeah, typically we'd go single contract, aggressive. But we'll watch this guy. We'll go 70.10. Look for a retest of this 66.20 for the scalper, and then let the balance run. Now the extended target would be back down into our lows of the day, LOD. We've got a DSR level 58.59s. We've had nice directional movement. Again, this is aggressive. Cluster with trend right there. Yeah, so the cluster occurs right here, right? We've got RSI overbought. This is the 5x1. A turning point right here. 2 bars later, the black tip. So the turning point to black tip occurs within 3 bars. Yeah, position size will adjust obviously based on your personal account size. Again, typically we do a single contract. Right now we're risking 200 to make 180 on the scalper and then let the balance run. Same type of setup up here on the top right on the Dow Jones. Our SOS is fired. We don't have a turning point or black tip yet. The aggressive. Okay, so there's the aggressive short entry. We're going to go down. I'm going to take profits on the first contract for 130. If target 1 is hit, then we'll trail the stops on the balance. You see that we put in a nice symmetrical double top right here. Overbought bearish divergence. Now again, it's a relatively tight pattern, but once you become familiar with this pattern, you're going to see these things over and over. Right there. Again, the left side, A, we hit the extreme overbought. B, turning point black tip fire right there. And then C, we have a color rotation to a black bar. All right, now I'm going to come down to 69.10 on the balance. So we're still risking 110, but we've got a lot of room to run now to the sell side. Okay? So there's that double top. So there's a sell with trend, with big opportunity there for the extended targets. So the 130 we just made, if we take a stop right here, basically we'll break even after commissions. If the market rolls down to the 65, then we'll see if we get a reversal trade. And if we don't and it takes this out, then next stop, 59.10s. So this beautiful winner here, remember we saw a massive move north, 58 straight north to 73. So now basically we've given back 50% of that move. If we can trade through the 65s, then we could give it all back and come right back down to retest lows of the day. Now note my fib dots are coming in right here at 69s. I'm going to get a little aggressive here. I'm going to wait for this market to possibly break these lows and then start trailing on the fibs. I want to give it a little room right there to see if we can get a break below, close below. All right, gang. Now, some of you look at correlated markets. Okay, there I missed the black tip sell. Perfect sell right there. Same exact signal. The Nasdaq just rolled over, and now the Nasdaq is pulled down into our key price point. So Nasdaq's oversold SOS1. Where's the market relative to? I'm at my DSR level, SOS2. Okay, so let's see if we put in a double bottom, and then on the right side here, we might look for the long entries. If the Nasdaq rolled over, then will it pull the Russell down with it? Okay, is the Nasdaq pulling the Russell? Are they not correlated today? Yeah, best thing to do is just trade the rules of engagement for that particular market. Yeah, now let's review this for those of you that are on trial again. Now remember, gang, any market, any time frame, it does not matter. Okay, so let me move this out of the way so it doesn't disrupt the visual. So right here, classic example. So first we go to a massive DSR resistance zone we identified in our pre-market. Once you get good at your pre-market, it'll take you 5 minutes. Okay, we had the beautiful qualified sell signal there. Boom, target one hit. Boom, out on trail stops right here. But there we go, lower low, lower high, new structure low, lower high. On the lower high, we have a black tip sell followed by the black candle. That would have put a short right around 37.72s. Okay, so plus 4 or 5. Right there, we're off at 68. And then obviously trail stops on the balance, looking for the move back into that next DSR level. So all the way up by the DSR levels right here, straight north, massive DSR sell zone, straight south, beautiful sideways trade, and we've covered literally that entire 20-point move. So just a perfect example of the counter trend, DSR levels at work, and then how to add to a position with trend. The turning point's right here. So again, I want you to go in, take a look at your chart. I want to see the RSI overbought. So I want to see an extreme RSI. Then we get a turning point followed 2 bars later by the black tip. So there's a cluster 3 right there. What happened after we got that? Okay, we sold it there and we got a nice directional move. Now what I always do is I always take a look at maximum favorable excursion. Okay, so let's use the if-then thought process. So we say if these criteria are met, then I sell the next bar market. So the next bar was right there. From there to the swing high was 8 ticks. Now again, I typically use a 20 tick stop regardless. Let's kill this. Okay, so the biggest move against me was a retest of the previous swing high. So I could have gotten away with an 11 tick stop right there. It handled that pop. Number 2, from the entry point, what was the lowest low that we saw? 2.3. So that's $230. Okay. So right here, I'll just record AE, and again, you can call it MAE, maximum adverse excursion, 1.1, and I add a tick, so I go 1.2, MFE, 2.3, and I subtract a tick. Always given a tick on either side for slippage. Okay, so if I put these in an Excel spreadsheet, and then I can sum my maximum adverse, sum the maximum favorable, and then divide by the total number of trades. That helps me identify when I get cluster 3 buys and sells. Now again, this is occurring in no man's land. This one, we weren't quite to the DSR level. Here's an extreme RSI, SOS1, turning point. Bar 2, nothing. Bar 3, black tip. Buy the next bar market. Okay, so let's go here. I would have needed a stop below the low right there. So let's go down by 1 tick. I need a 15 tick stop minimum. Okay. Whoops. And then from here to here, this guy's still going. So I'm already up $420, obviously with opportunity for it to go significantly higher. Now again, Mini Russell will give us these types of moves with repetition. Crude oil will give us these types of move. S&P, not so much. So I've got to be sure that I'm in the appropriate market. Okay. So let's look left right here. See this? I get an extreme oversold, my turning point, but my black tip doesn't occur for 6 bars. So this does not count as a cluster 3. Here I'm overbought, SOS1, turning point, followed immediately by a black tip. So those occur on 2 consecutive candles. So grab the ruler. If I sell the next bar market, The highest high we saw did not even go above the previous high. So again, a 15 tick stop easily held. And then on this one, obviously we came all the way down. My maximum favorable excursion was $690 on that move right there. So just the last three trades right there, trading a one lot, risk 2 ticks, or I'm sorry, 22 ticks. And then if we trail on the fib dots, it's very easy. Just pop it right there, 2 ticks above the fib. I would have made $500. Okay, qualified sell here. Rather than the maximum favorable, if I trail on the fibs, I would have made $50. Over here, no static target, just trail it on the fibs. I'd be locked in right here to $310. Now again, this is a beautiful directional market. We're not seeing some of that chop, but we're going to get 4 days similar to this every month. And as you can see here, just the mini Russell is $2,000 today, trading 2 lots, over $1,000 if I trade a single contract. I only need 3 or 4 of these a month and then manage the expectations the balance of the time. That's the thing I love about this market. Crude oil, as we saw earlier, has declined to 1 point a day or $1 a day of directional movement. Today we saw the Nasdaq, a beautiful 20-point directional move. Okay, so again, it starts with the extreme RSI. Then I want to see a turning point, black tip. I want to see those 2 things occur within 3 bars. 1, 2, 3. If it extends beyond that, I'm not nearly as excited about it. Yeah, now I built the Excel spreadsheet out so we could take a look at the different types of signals. So let's pull this guy up. Scroll back to the top. Okay, so under entry type, you'll see right here, we've got clusters at the SOS. And then if I turn all of these off, it'll just show what went on with double tops, double bottoms. Okay, so right there, you'll see DB, DT. So these are all double bottoms or double tops in crude oil, and then varying SOS types of signals. So now I've just identified double tops, double bottoms. So if you said, okay, I want to pull my strategy down to that, then we'll take this over here. There's the net result. Again, that's 1 contract, risk 15 to make 18 with a trail stop. And right there's $2,700. Yeah, no, that's about 68 trades. So we got to pull $700 out for commish. Okay. Now, if I want to see all the cluster signals, just select all right here. And then obviously I get more trades. Yeah, let's take a look here. Somebody asked about number of trades. So basically sell 11 down to 133. Got a couple in there. So basically 115 trades. So roughly 6 trades a day over a 20-day period. And then there's April. Yeah, so real simple signal. About $85 a trade. This is with $20 taken out for slippage and commission. Again, 1 lot only. It doesn't take into account extended targets, although occasionally using the trail stop, we can get the bigger moves. So this guy right here would qualify as a potential buy. This one definitely would. That's on a 150 tick chart, correct. So again, if you pull your charts to a 233 tick, or for example, Max, he uses a 400 volume on the mini Russell. Okay, S&P, he trades a 1,000 tick. It reduces the number of signals he has to watch. Yeah, so here, let me show you this right here. So we're rallying back in. Now, I've got a DSR level that's set right here on my 150 tick chart. So let's walk through strength of signal right here. All right, let's widen this out. Okay, now again, if I took my cluster 3 buy right here, then traded a one lot to the extended target, I'm still long right there with an 1169.90 stop. My fib dots will start to update and go higher, but right here, I have an interest in this level. I know that I've got a massive DSR level here on my higher time frame. RSI has already been overbought, so now I've got a symmetrical double top right here, overbought bearish divergence, but I'm not at my DSR level, so I can't take that trade unless I'm aggressive. Now, if over here on the right side I get a turning point black tip sell, then I can take that cluster short entry. Other than that, I've got to wait till we get into that DSR level. Okay, let's kill this right here. This right here. Yeah, so there's the cluster sell. There's the cluster 3 buy. Look left, cluster sell. So that IS over, really, really powerful. All right, traders, so let's recap the session here. Beautiful day. Again, we need 3 to 4 days like this per month to make it significant. So let's go back. Right here we had the cluster 4 buy. Target 1 was attained for plus 18. Balance out here for $1,200 on the winner. Top left-hand side, mini Russell, we had the cluster 3 sell. If you trade a 2 lot, 18 ticks or $180 on, $220 on the scalper. The balance out there for plus 500. So that puts us up around $2,000 for the session. Then we come back over here, and right here was the cluster 3 buy signal. And again, if we do 2 contracts, we go plus 220. And then right now, we're just getting stopped out of the balance of that signal for around $340. All right, so there we are. TF right there, over $2,000 on the day, trading a 2 lot, over $1,000 on single contracts, going for the extended targets. On the strategy right here, okay, this is the level 2 strategy. You see that we got in right here, right off the open, 858, scalper hit for 180, and then the balance out right here for 260. Okay, there's the qualified sell signal that we had. The strategy is not programmed for this one, but then the strategy got back long, another plus 180 here, and is still long right there. So again, I'll right click, we'll go to performance. That will add in the most recent trade. 47.10 right here on 52 trades. So again, got to take a minimum of 550 out right there for commish. Pulls it down to around 4,000 for the last couple of weeks. That's on a 1,000 tick chart. Great trade right there in the mini Russell. Now again, you can see that trading 2 lots intraday, we outperformed that because we did both the buy side and the sell side using our rules of engagement. But for some of you that just prefer the strategy, done right there. And then obviously still long in the Dow Jones. Let's go take a look at our Nasdaq signals. And remember, it's imperative that when we write the trading plans, to determine, are you going to be an aggressive trader or more conservative? So back here, we had our qualified buy signal right off the open. We went plus 5 on the scalper, minus 2 on the trader. Okay, then we had the continuation buy right there for plus 8. We took the short entry right here, which was another 17 points right there. That's the conservative trade. So we were 2-0 on conservatives. We are 1-1 on aggressives. 1 winner, 1 loser. And now you can see back here, right there was that last signal, and then right here I did an aggressive short entry. I'm going to go ahead and use an adverse excursion right there. So overall for the session, well over $3,000 trading the Nasdaq 2 lot, TF, mini Russell 2 lot, and then the Dow Jones 2 lot as well. All right, we'll see you at the next session. Trial members, if you haven't picked up your trial, be sure to click on that $38 button. I want you to test the strategy. I want to teach you the 2 or 3 primaries, and then I want you to go back, watch these trade signals in real time. Gain confidence for yourself for the next 2 weeks. Most powerful thing that you can do. Thanks again for attending. We'll see you in our next session.